Hi, everybody, it's Amy, and I'm here live around 5 to see if you've made your list and if you've checked it twice. Your self care list, that is. Let's face it, it's the time of year where schedules get tight, schools get busy, we spend more time around family, maybe that we are in alignment with, or maybe that we're not. There's the stress of maybe travel, money, and all the holiday hubbub. And it's really important in those times to know what you can do for self care. The worst time to think about what you want to do for self care is when you need it, right? It's like trying to decide where you want to go for dinner when you're starving, right? What do I want to eat? I don't know. I'm just starving. Well, we're starving for soothing. We're starving for stability. We're starving for a level of happiness. And when we really need it most is when we just need to have a go-to list. And so what I recommend you do first is during a time when you're feeling great, make a list. And when I say check it twice, what I mean is when you have an activity or you do something that you think, man, I just love this. I love visiting a bookstore. I love cooking a new recipe. I love talking to my friend. Add it to that self-care list, right? Be conscious in your day-to-day life of knowing what will give you support, what will make you feel better, what will make you feel fulfilled, what will be a nice soft bubble time that you can really pour back into yourself. So when you make that list and you build on it, update it, or keep it up, that's really going to help you. Now, the other thing I would say is that it's really important to think about items that don't cost any money, because that's one of the tricks that we can get into, right? If your self-care list is like massage, travel to Europe, a new purse, that may be the exact problem you're having, is that you're looking for financial freedom, but you're really longing to spend money when you're looking to feel better. Retail therapy, am I right? Who among us has not wandered the aisles of Target and bought something we did not need that just made us feel better? Well, you may not have that option. And as you know, one of the things we do is I work to help you take care of your health, mental and physical, and my husband works to help you take care of your finances. Because we've been there. We know what it's like when money is a pressure, when money is a problem. So this self-care list that I'm going to share with you, that's my self-care list, doesn't cost you anything extra. It's 10 things that you can do right now, probably exactly where you are, that can soothe you and make you feel a little better. You might notice that one of the themes is me staying warm. I live in Virginia most of the time, and I'm often cold. I'm always seeking warmth. So the first thing I like to do when I'm a little bit down is take a hot bath. You could do a bubble bath, an Epsom salt bath, a bath with some essential oils, or something that maybe it's a cold shower for you. There's that great theory that when you do really cold showers, it brings you energy. So whatever that sort of thing is, like a water therapy. But for me, it's always a hot bath. Followed, of course, by reading a book. And we all know there are so many free books out there. If you're part of Amazon Prime, in fact, you get a free book selection each month. Don't ignore those emails. Some of the books are really cool. We can always check out a book from the library. And my guess is we all own books we either haven't read in our TBR, to be read pile, or they're books that we've read that we would love to reread again. One of the things I love about reading is that I can read a book at one point in my life and then read it at a later point in my life, and it means something completely different to me. So reading a book, a cup of hot tea. How soothing is a cup of hot tea? Maybe hot cocoa or maybe hot coffee, but just a warm drink. And that includes the time to sit and enjoy it, right? Put it in a mug that you love. Take your time making it and preparing it. Let it be a beautiful process. Put your hands on that mug and embrace it and enjoy it. Walk. Just get out of your house and walk. That also has the added benefit of removing you from potentially your stressful situation. We were actually having a conversation in one of my groups where people are like, what do you do when you need a little bit of extra self-care? And we loved the idea of walking because it's not only getting you physical benefits, but it also kind of gets you out of the situation that might be causing you the most stress. Get outside and just get some sun. Ground yourself. Put your feet on the ground without shoes. Depending on where you are, that might not feel great if it's snowing where you are. Just get out and get some sunshine. But if you're somewhere warm, there's a theory of grounding where you put your feet actually on the physical ground that feels incredible and helps you reconnect with yourself and the planet and your emotions and everything else. Sometimes all I need is a little rest, and I do that with a heating pad, so it feels a little bit more welcoming. I prefer a heated weighting pad. If you haven't heard of that, they're wonderful. You can find them easily on Amazon. They have one that goes across your shoulders, and because it's weighted and it has a little bit of, you can form it to yourself. It's not that crinkly, bizarre heating pad that you can't get just in the right spot. So a warm snuggle with a heating pad. Write in my gratitude journal. You know, if I'm behind on that or I want to just reflect on things that I've written over the course of the year, I can either write in it or I can read it and remind myself. I write 5 things I'm grateful for every single day, and they're generally supposed to be very specific, but can be very small. So some days I'll write, you know, I made my coffee just perfectly today. The frother was on point. My coffee was a joy today. Or maybe you saw a friend in passing that you hadn't seen for a while. A phone call from a family member. It can be very small things, but are things I'm grateful for every single day. And reflecting on that, having an attitude of gratitude, it sounds like a platitude, but it's absolutely not. It can make a huge difference. Call a friend, especially a friend that you've been meaning to catch up with. I often call my friend Lisa, who lives all the way out in Anchorage, Alaska. And we try to visit as much as we can, but as you can imagine, living that far apart, it's often the phone calls that mean the most to us. Netflix. There's so many cute shows on right now. Now, this comes with a caution. Don't Netflix away 8 hours a day, or don't Netflix away a responsibility. But if you're just needing a soft place to fall, for me, a silly romantic comedy or an old favorite is a really great thing to just zone out and relax. And my last thing on my list of 10 things was to do some yoga. Stretching can release a ton of tension. It can reset you mentally and physically. And I particularly love that on YouTube you can get tons of free yoga. I'm not saying you need to pay for a class or go to one, but if you do, that's also great to be led by an incredible teacher. I have an amazing person I can recommend in Charlottesville. Her name is Barb, and she runs Simply Yoga. I love her. She's an incredible human and an amazing teacher. So do something stretching or yoga that'll bring you some joy. At the end of the day, we all can use some self-care. And this time of year, I want you to double down on it. I want you to make it part of your schedule, because part of being resilient is feeling like you're balanced in the first place. And we've all gone through a lot in the last couple of years. My local town has been through a lot just in the last couple of days. And so I went to my self-care list and I doubled down on it. If you're interested in learning more about the tips that I've gathered over the years about how to get through a tragedy, you can check out my video from 2 nights ago. At the end of the day, we all need self-care for different reasons, right? And so I want you to think right now, really quickly, off the top of your head, what are 5 things that you could do for self-care? I've listed some of my favorites that would be money-wise. I love my Valor Oil. I love my Wave Watch. I love my free group, Resilient and Successful Families, because that's where we gather to help support each other and make sure that everybody gets self-care when they really need it. So absolutely give yourself that benefit, give yourself that support, because you deserve it. I love you guys. I'm so glad you're here.